So whether you're a family of 1 to 4 or more, we're all experiencing the economic crunch when we go to the grocery store. Inflation, it's reality. So today I'm going to share some of the tips that worked for me and my family over the last few years of how we try to figure out what's happening in our routine that makes it so that we're spending so much on the groceries every week, every month, and how can we sort of whittle that down and make some better choices. So I'm going to share with you some simple tricks that has worked for us. So maybe to start, I'll give you a bit of a background. So before the pandemic, my daily routine was, before I would come home from work, on the way home, I would reach out to the family and say, hey, what are you thinking for dinner today? And after a little bit of back and forth, some texting, and we come up with what we want that day, then it's a matter of me picking up ingredients specifically for that meal as I'm stopping by the grocery store on the way home. Not only is this time consuming, but often I would find that this was costly. For example, a typical dinner that I might, pick up some protein, we're just getting it for that meal, then we're gonna get some veggies and maybe some carbs of some sort. And we'd also have to get the garnishes and some of the spices. We were looking at $40 to $50 for that entire meal. So one of the first big choices that we made, that was a huge game changer, magnetic weekly meal calendar. So we planned our dinners 1 week in advance. We'd sit down, typically on a Saturday would be when I would grocery shop, and we plan out, okay, what do we want for the next 7 days? Now, the reason why the magnetic menu was such a game changer is because in the morning, my daughter would be coming out to have some breakfast and be like, oh, we're having this for dinner tonight? Then she'd be all enthusiastic about it. But it also helped for me because then the day's over, take the dog for a walk, and then I'm on my way back, I'm in the kitchen, there's no opening the fridge door and just staring for minutes on end. Instead, it's let's take a look at this menu and away we go. So this simple trick, from what we were spending by doing that daily shopping, that saved us approximately 25% right there. Our bank had this AI app that would tell us what we were spending and how much we were spending per week. And we thought, this is crazy. The local grocery store, trying to keep it cheap, we've brought it down by 25%. And now where are we at? Decided we need to do something about this. Okay, let's go buy in bulk. So whether this is some sort of your local warehouse, bulk case lot place, we're going to Costco. Purchase now for 2 weeks at a time. Why I was against Costco for so long, the food would expire before I could even get to it. Sometimes you would buy a large thing of chicken and when it's only going to be the next 3 or 4 days that it's going to be the most fresh, and we wouldn't be able to get to it for a week or more after that. And I know you're thinking, hey, just throw it in the freezer. Well, what would happen is we'd get a whole bunch of things in the freezer, they pile on top of each other and you forget what's where, especially if you're living in an apartment. We don't have space for a deep freeze. So what would we do? We'd forget about stuff, freezer burn, sometimes months, year would even go by and you'd find, remember we bought this? Why can't we use the same hack, planning 2 weeks at a time? And then I would write down, what are we having for this upcoming week? Would go in the fridge. The second week's worth of food would go in the freezer. Not only would we write out the meals, but I would also use this space to put what is now in the freezer. So for the following week, when the Saturday rolled around, I would do that same process, but I would know what I've got to work with that's in the freezer. So there's quick turnover, nothing's getting freezer burn, and also you're now saving that money because you bought in the large quantity. By just merging meal planning with bulk purchasing and the trusty meal calendar, we've achieved significant savings and we've reduced mealtime stress. So give it a try, and you might be surprised how much you save. Thanks for tuning in to Dad Can Kinda Cook. If you found any of these tips helpful, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Happy cooking.